As you probably know, seeing as you've clicked on this video, Megadeth's Peace Sells But Who's Buying is one of the greatest thrash metal albums of all time. It's just absolutely quirky and unique. There's no other album that sounds like Peace Sells, is there? Loads of bands ripped off Metallica, but I think most bands didn't even know where to start when it came to ripping off the mind of Dave Mustaine. I've been spinning the album again lately, and I have set about ranking the songs on this one. And I'm going to tell you my ranking of the songs on Peace Sells, from the worst song to the very best song. Hello there, possessed person. I am Jason Arnott, former Kerrang writer from the 80s and 90s and author of the book From the Front Lines of Rock, which gathers together 30 of the best interviews I did for that magazine. Now, in order to rank the songs on this album, I cut up some index cards so that I had 9 individual pieces, wrote down the title of each song on each, and then mixed them around until sense prevailed. Hopefully. Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see how sensible you think my ranking is. Either way, I want to see you down in comments writing out your own ranking for Peace Sells. This is a really difficult album to rank because most of the songs are just so great, but the worst song is not hard to decide upon, and I think you already have it in your mind. Yes, it's the only song on the album that was not written by Dave Mustaine. It's I Ain't Superstitious. Now, on the album, it's a kind of a bluesy, fun song that kind of goes up a gear into speed metal territory, but it mainly works in the context of the album itself. On the album, you've just had 2 extremely satanic songs in the shape of Black Friday and Bad Omen, oh, and Good Morning as well, which is the intro to Black Friday, and which I'm treating as a track by itself, by the way. And when I Ain't Superstitious comes along, it's quite a nice bit of pacing, really, because after the satanic majesty of the last 3 tracks, this one comes along and breaks it up. So I think it's a cool track. It's fun, and it's a bit of silliness before the mighty closing track, My Last Words. Yeah, but in terms of the individual songs on the album, this is the worst track in my opinion. Next up on the ranking list, number 8, is the aforementioned Good Morning. And it's a really nice track. I mean, I say nice, it's kind of full of foreboding. Of all the tracks on the album, this might be the only one that feels like it's influenced by Black Sabbath directly, I guess, because it has that kind of doomy feel. And it's really interesting that I don't know where this song ends and Black Friday begins. Do you? Is it when the metallic riff kicks in, the first metallic riff? Or is it when the verse riff of Black Friday begins? I have no idea. Anyway, this is the 8th best song on Peace Sells. At number 7 is one of the 2 satanic songs I just mentioned, and that is Bad Omen. I really like Bad Omen. I must admit, I could hardly remember it when I went back to the album. But then when I listen to it, it's actually a really catchy song, and it does kind of stick in your head, and it's got some really weird off-kilter tempos and a really interesting kind of dark and quite creepy and evil atmosphere. That's the mark of an album, isn't it? When the 7th best song on the album is a great song, that's when you're winning. The 6th best song on this album might surprise or even shock you. It might even enrage you. And I'm kind of surprised myself. It's the title track, Peace Sells. Yeah, I know. How bizarre. I mean, for lots of people, Peace Sells is the finest track on the album, and I can totally understand that. It's probably had the most airplay, and so the impact of it may have become a bit blurred and dented even over time. Nevertheless, it's a great song. It's number 6 on the album for me, but it's a really great song, and of course it's really unique and great kind of chugging riffs on the verses, and then it builds up nicely to a crescendo at the end. That's the thing, there's nothing wrong with it. I've got nothing bad to say about it at all. I just think the other 5 tracks on the album are even better. Yeah. Now here's a weird thing. You might just say to me, well, so what? I totally knew that. But I only just realised after all these years of owning this album that there isn't actually an ellipsis there at the end of this song title. That the song itself is just called Peace Sells. The album is called Peace Sells But Who's Buying, but the song itself is just called Peace Sells. And that's blown my mind a bit. I think I always thought it had the same title as the album. How did I never actually notice that? Did you notice that? Be honest. Come on, tell me in comments. We are now halfway through the 9 tracks on the album, and in my opinion, the 5th best song on Peace Sells But Who's Buying is Devil's Island. Devil's Island. I think that was a really good rendition of the song. So yeah, Devil's Island is a lovely piece of work, a dark galloper, isn't it? It's got proper gallopy riffs, and again, really kind of thick atmosphere in it. Maybe it doesn't have like a really standout riff in the same way that a lot of the other songs, or certainly the next 4 songs, do on this album. But it's great. It's just a great gallopy anthem. Enough said. I just changed my mind at the last minute right now and swapped the 3rd and 4th songs around. Yeah, I looked at the cards and thought, no, actually that's not right. So the 4th best song on Peace Sells is Black Friday, Paint the Devil on the Wall. What a great song this is. I mean, it's the most thrashy song on the album, isn't it? It's kind of one of the few songs, along with Bad Omen actually, where you kind of feel like the band really are a speed metal band or a thrash metal band. This is a really nasty song. I can remember being kind of shocked by the lyrics when I read them back in 1986. You know, back then a story about a horrible gore-drenched serial killer was quite shocking, wasn't it? By the way, I've got a theory of how the lyrics of Good Morning and Black Friday fit together. And again, you might have thought this yourself. It may be obvious to you. I don't know. But I think that this is a guy who wakes up one morning and he's feeling very strange because he's about to be possessed by either a demon or the spirit of a dead serial killer. And then Black Friday shows you what he gets up to after he becomes possessed, namely killing a load of people. Yeah. But what a great song this is, you know, what incredible riffs. There's some crazy riffs in this song. It's just it really is. Talk about state-of-the-art speed metal. And I love the line at the end, paint the devil on the wall. 3 songs left. So what's going to be number 3, eh? I wonder. Again, this might surprise you. I have no idea. But it's Wake Up Dead, the opening song on the album. Yes, Wake Up Dead is amazing, isn't it? And again, it's one of the more familiar songs because it was the theme for the Headbangers Ball on MTV back in the day, wasn't it? And there was quite a well-rotated promo video for that song. And what an incredibly unique song Wake Up Dead really is. It's an astonishing song. It flies in the face of accepted song structure rules, doesn't it? There's no real verse, there's no real chorus, unless you count like a late chorus right at the end. It's almost an instrumental as well. There's only a couple of bits that have vocals on, kind of. It feels like an instrumental with a few lyrics added. And also, it's like a procession of riffs. I don't think any one riff gets repeated. It's just tirelessly, relentlessly, restlessly moving forwards, a bit like a shark. It's absolutely mad. Number 2 is My Last Words. Oh, I love My Last Words, and I think it's been really overlooked. I'm not even 100% sure if the band have ever played it live. Tell me down in comments if you've seen the band play My Last Words live. It feels like it's kind of been swept under the carpet of Peace Sells history, this song, despite being the final song on the album. And it was the first song I ever heard by Megadeth when Tommy Vance, God rest his soul, played the song on his Friday Rock show, which has got so much to answer for in terms of switching me on to new music. And I loved My Last Words. It's just so intense, and it's unlike any other Megadeth song as well. It does feel like a kind of a trad metal song, actually, kind of an up-tempo trad metal song, and it's just got a great ending. When I listen to it, it still makes the hair on the back of my neck kind of prickle up. You know, the end of My Last Words. Absolutely love it. I also kind of like the fact that it's called My Last Words and it's Dave Mustaine's last words on the album. Lovely. So you now know, if you know the album well, if you remember what the tracks are, you'll know what number 1 is now, and it is The Conjuring. Yeah, The Conjuring, aka Riff Heaven. What an absolute factory of riffs the Conjuring is, and it's also just an absolute masterwork of atmosphere. It really feels like you're in this kind of dark den of arcane sorcery, doesn't it, when you're listening to The Conjuring? And it's just got, I don't think there's even an average riff in the entire song. And there are some of the best riffs ever in The Conjuring. Mainly the sort of slower mid-paced riffs are just incredible and absolutely cooked to perfection. And it's a real shame that Dave Mustaine, you know, at least for a while, I think, ditched The Conjuring and Black Friday from the band's set list because he thought they were too evil. He thought The Conjuring was some kind of recipe for actual black magic. In fact, all it really is a recipe for an incredibly entertaining 5 minutes, or maybe 4 minutes. I can't remember how long it lasts. Anyway, it's my favourite song on the album. What is your favourite song? That's what I want to hear now. Ideally, I'd like to see you write your top 9 songs in full. Yes, please. At some point, I am going to rank this little beauty, Metallica's Master of Puppets. I'm kind of curious as to what my own ranking is going to be for this one, so I'm going to subscribe to the channel myself in order to find out. And while you're waiting for that ranking video, you might want to watch this video I made about Master of Puppets, in which I take a really close look at the front cover and the artwork and tell you how much the original artwork sold for at auction. Check it out. Until next time then, metal.